Michelle Joy Phelps with Behind the Gloves in association with our betting partners, USR. And I'm joined now with Alexander Krasiuk, promoter to Alexander Usyk. Thank you so much. Number one, just a little clarification for people. We just did the phone call and it didn't record. So now we're doing this again. So I very, very much appreciate your time right now, Alex.
Which is my pleasure.
Oh my God. So there's so much to go over. Obviously, all the news that has gone on in the last 24 hours, a complete turn of events for absolutely everybody involved. We found out that Deontay Wilder won his arbitration case, which now puts Tyson Fury to have to fight him for a third time. Bob Arum has announced it to be for July 24th at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. But now we have Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua, as he's the WBO mandatory. So much has changed for you on your side. Tell me what you thought initially when you saw the news.
Yeah, so this morning I woke up. First thing I saw on my phone, maybe just several messages from different countries of the world saying that something was going on. I received a message from Usyk'S saying that I overslept everything. So I called him. He said that the arbitration ended up with a decision that Fury has to face Wilder, meaning that AJ Fury fight is off.
Right.
Which he already spoke to Bob Arum and who confirmed this information, his side. So we discussed. I was like, okay, this is something we worked for. This is something we expected. Let's try to make it happen. So in probably an hour or hour and a half, I received the text from Eddie Hearn. Mm-hmm. We agreed to speak, to discuss how we can make it, which we did. Now it looks very positive for Usyk to face AJ, because there is plan A for Eddie, of course, and for Fury is to settle the deal with Wilder for stepping aside and making this fight happen in August, on August 14th. Mm-hmm. Which doesn't seem very likely due to Bob Arum saying that he's not willing to pay any step asides, and as you told that Wilder team doesn't want to step aside for any kind of money. They want to fight. Mm-hmm. It's a fighter's ego. It's a fighter's heritage, of course. And he would want to fight.
Yeah, he wants to avenge his loss. As he said, he wants blood. You know, he really wants this. He wants it over money. Money can't undo what had happened. And obviously, Team Wilder believes that the third fight could be very different for them. So they want to take the opportunity, which, you know, they're legally obliged to. So. But now that we know that this is all sort of shifted and changed, Usyk, tell me where Usyk is with all of this.
I called Usyk this morning. He did not pick up. I left a message on his WhatsApp, just a short one. Alex, are you ready to face AJ? He called me back in maybe half an hour. Saying that he was driving La Manche, and which turn he has to take. He is heading to London already, so he's ready, of course. He's willing to do that, and that is something he expected to happen deep in his heart. Because with all respect to Joe Joyce, first he already fought Joe Joyce in WSB, and second, fighting the interim, of course it's great, but it's not as good as fighting Anthony Joshua for 3 belts already. with the status of the mandatory challenger for one of those belts, it sounds different, and the motivation is different. So he was happy to hear that news, but I told him this is not the final decision. This is something that is going on. So I just want to keep you updated. But within next days, we have to fix it, and that's what we agreed with Eddie. Eddie said that until the end of this week, Fury team has time to settle issues with Wilder, and if they don't, then AJ has to go with mandatory or decide to vacate, which AJ doesn't want to, of course.
Right. With the whole sort of, giving them until the end of the week, but besides that, with you and Eddie, have you guys sort of briefly discussed what the possibility of the dates could be? I know that Eddie said online, he said that there's plan B and plan C. So I know that Usyk was always plan B, so I'm not quite sure what he meant by plan C.
Plan C is to vacate and wait for December.
Okay.
So it's easy. Maybe some plan X or Y to work out a deal that Usyk fights for the interim and he gives a chance for Joshua to stay the champion until December for the fight, and then he vacates the next day after the fight, which is too complicated and is not very likely to happen. Now, what we agreed with Eddie is that the negotiations have to go very fast, which we have great experience together. We just reminded that we made a deal on Usyk co-promotion 3 years ago, just in 10 minutes. So it shouldn't be too complicated for us to make a deal for AJ fight. And if the fight has to take place, it has to happen until the end of summer, most likely August. Maybe to replace the existing date already, maybe to shift it a week after, something like that.
I was going to say, because obviously they put all of this time into making a deal with the Saudis, and they were willing to sort of host the fight out that way. What's the likelihood that we could possibly get the Usyk fight over in Saudi Arabia, or is that sort of
summertime, there is rumors, not just rumors, but serious information on British side that very soon the crowds will be allowed open air, and in August, having such kind of fight, it might take place open air. Let's say Wembley, which is an acceptable option for that. And if it's okay with the regulation, then why not? Wembley is a great option. For me, if you ask me, I will be more than happy to host it in Kyiv. More than happy. But there's not much reason in this desire. It's just like something that I want to make for my country. Maybe if Usyk wins,
right,
the rematch can be hosted here.
So that's what I wanted to ask in terms of rematch. So going into the fight between the two, there is a rematch clause in that, or there will be? Because the only reason
this is the mandatory.
Oh, right, correct.
Yeah, according to ABC rules, it's not mandatory for mandatory. to have to have mandatory.
I completely slipped my mind for a second, but yeah, you're right.
No, it's okay.
Right. Yeah, but if in the event, like again, because there are so many moving parts going on at the moment, depending on who wins, like we were saying, talking about the sanctioning bodies, like there's so many people sort of waiting. There's other mandatories waiting. We don't know how long everyone's going to continue to wait before someone has to vacate. So we don't really know what's going to happen. In fact, this sort of this puts the idea of an undisputed fight in jeopardy altogether when you think about all the different sanctioning bodies and all the different mandatories waiting.
Right. There are 4 of them. One, IBF has completed its mandatory with Pulev. Now it's WBO turn. WBC belongs to Fury, which is responsibility of their side. And again, IBF is calling for the mandatory now. So they're gonna be issues with mandatories, which they always are. But you know, if let's say big favorite loses to the underdog, what happens next? Normally, it's a rematch. Even though it's a mandatory, it's not forbidden to have the rematch of the mandatory. But I remember when Tyson Fury defeated Vladimir Klitschko, and the rematch clause was in the contract, and the rematch never happened. Unfinished business. You know what I mean?
But one retired and then the other retired, and
one is, you know, Vitaly is turning 50 very soon, so it's probably, it looks like a bit too late for him to come back. But for Vladimir, you never know. He was saying on media that he might have motivation to come back for two issues. First, unfinished business with Fury, and second, to beat the record of George Foreman, the eldest champion in heavyweights. So he's gonna be at that age by the end of this year. So you never know. He's in wonderful shape at the moment. He's looking great.
But Alex, would he do it if a title wasn't on the line? Would he still consider it, or would it have to be the titles were there? Because
I have no
Usyk
idea.
wins, right? Let's say Usyk wins, it kind of throws everything off, doesn't it? Because then, and if only God knows what can happen between Wilder and Fury. So
Michelle, I never heard from Vladimir saying that I am coming back.
Yeah.
I'm returning. I'm making my return. I never heard that. But I never heard that statement like, I will never get back to boxing. So it means that that there's still a chance that one day he might come back.
Yeah, consider it. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, interesting 24 hours. I know that online right now, everyone's just raging. Either people are excited for Wilder or they're extremely disappointed because, like we were saying, we don't know what can happen. Heavyweight boxing, anything can happen. So someone, the favorite today, could be the underdog tomorrow. So we just never know. And at the end of the day, if Deontay Wilder decides to not step aside, which he's already made clear he's not, but let's just say, because sometimes, you know, money does talk. It does.
Absolutely.
Sometimes if someone gets in the ear and goes, look, maybe we'll give you a little bit of this and a guarantee a shot at the winner, I don't know, something. If they can find a way, that would be ideal. But if not, this could very much change the course of whether or not we ever get an undisputed anytime soon, just because anything can happen.
It won't be ideal for Usyk if they find the solution, but it's not likely to happen at this moment. Maybe at the moment of today, it's not likely to happen. But anything, you know, may happen by the end of the week. Let's wait. Everyone is in trainings. Promoters are in negotiations. Lawyers are in arbitration. You know what I mean? So everyone's working hard to make at least something happening. Of course, undisputed heavyweight clashes wow, the whole world would love to see. But no one says it will never happen.
It's just a matter
Just
of when.
yeah, just a matter of couple, maybe half year, maybe 8 months, 9 months. It's still on.
Right.
Everyone is healthy, everyone is fit, everyone is willing to fight. That's why it's even more interesting, because the building up is huge.
Yeah. No, it will be. And regardless, and like I was saying before, it's not like because Fury has to go fight Wilder, which is still an exciting fight in itself. It's not like we're not getting an exciting fight out of Joshua Usyk. We still are. So at the end of the day, although the timing may not be what fans were hoping for, nonetheless, we still have some exciting matchups in the heavyweight, division.
Correct. Within next 9 months, I think is gonna be something extraordinary that heavyweight didn't suffer within last maybe 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing what happens. Hopefully we can catch up when we have more to sort of base it off of, because I know that we have to the end of the week before Wilder and Fury sort of figure out what's happening. And if all goes according to what Bob Arum's saying, then we know that we are going to get Usyk and Joshua and Wilder and Fury. So I guess we'll catch up when we have more information at this point.
Which is always my great pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you again. I appreciate you getting on this call again. God bless you.
But this one I think was even better.
Yeah. No, it was. It's always better than a phone call, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. Well, we'll speak with you soon then.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you. Have
Bye.
a good one. Bye-bye.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else